About 2 years ago, I put the recorder in the ravine near my house, the place where I've been researching for many years now, and got an amazing display of percussion, really all morning and all afternoon, but it was especially intense in the morning. The clock wasn't there. I'm just using it to show when the given percussions took place. I never really thought that I'd get percussion in the middle of winter, but just this last February 23rd, I left the recorder out overnight in the same spot that I have been for years, and I got quite a bit. It seems that whoever was producing these impacts was pretty much sticking in the same spot, not too far from the recorder. My angle on being a student of this species has really been to try to learn what they do ordinarily when they're not acting like monsters or exhibiting some of the more sensationalistic and widely reported behaviors. What do they do just kind of on a daily basis when they're being themselves and not reacting to a human observer? Sometimes this kind of percussion is very dramatic, as in the case of that morning 2 years ago that I left the recorder out and then used the clock to show the time progression. Sometimes it's very low key, as in the case of this winter night recording. And even compressed together, it's kind of actually boring to listen to, if you can imagine. There's a certain sameness to this behavior that's much less stirring than the more dramatic examples. It's my impression that in Sasquatch we have a population with few options and a great deal of time on their hands. And when they're not hunting or traveling somewhere else or interacting with each other, however they do that, I think they have to fill this time. And if I'm right that there are at least a dozen very specific traits that Sasquatch behavior and nature shares with that of autistic people, and especially autistic savants, then it would seem to make sense, it would seem to follow that they would often fill this time that they have with what in autism is described as stimming, or self-stimulating, but not in a sexual sense, but in a sense of soothing oneself, keeping oneself regulated. I'm no expert, so let me defer to two experts.
So stimming is a repetitive motion that one tends to do over and over again. The most common form being like the hand flapping or rocking back and forth. Sometimes, like a tapping a pencil can be a stimming behavior.
And you've been sitting for 2 hours and you don't know what you're going to do, you can self-regulate by rocking in your desk, by rubbing something like the rubber end of an eraser, twirling your hair, tapping something against the side of your face. You can fidget with a fidget toy. All of these things, you can focus on the good sensory input, focus on one thing, and the rest of the world, it fades away. And so self-regulation is great. You can do it in all kinds of settings. The second reason is sensory seeking. Seeking sensory input and just really enjoying it.
It's like an endorphin rush, and I actually think it does cause an endorphin rush. So it's like these chemicals, they go straight up to your brain, and it feels great. It feels awesome.
When I'm listening to a sound I really enjoy, or I'm, rocking and listening to music at the same time and just feeling the music flow through me, and I just get like in the zone, just so blissful, spinning in my computer chair. I feel so happy. We don't just need it for self-regulation. It's the natural way that we move.
This sameness, this routine, the fact that I can find this individual making similar percussions in the same spot 17 months apart is a large part of the point. I think they're creatures of habit, and if they've been doing this over 17 months, then I imagine they've been doing it much longer than that. Probably for thousands and thousands of years, because why would my local example be any different? And just a few days ago, a friend directed me to a researcher recording audio where she's seen Sasquatch in northern Massachusetts. So I really appreciate her work. She posts on YouTube under Bigfoot Research and calls herself Lady in Waiting.
Today I'm going to show you my most common stems. There's two variations to this. The first goes like this. So a shake with an upwards twist at the end. The second one is just a shake. I like the stem for the sound my ring makes when shaking. So whenever I have tension building up in my body, this stem helps me to release it. It could also be when I'm really excited about something and tensing up about it, then instead of tensing up, it helps me to loosen. I really like the sound it makes. It's kind of a rustling sound. I would call it a finger snapping stem. I do sometimes really like the sound